Good, good evening, folks. It's your bro, Rich here. Today in this video, I'm back with another Transformers video. And today in this video, I am going to be talking to you all about the next Transformers movie, which is, yep, you guys have guessed it right. Today in this video, I'm going to be talking to you all about Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. So, yeah, I've done the first one already, so now it's time to jump right into the next one, which is obviously Revenge of the Fallen, from the, obviously from the Transformers franchise. So yeah, it's the second, part of the, the franchise, the second movie of the franchise, as I would like to call it. And so yeah, I'm gonna do it as fast as I could, cause I still got my NASCAR videos to finish off, and some more muscle cars to to do, and some other Fast and Furious vehicles. But it's gonna take some time. Just bear with me because I have a lot of work to literally do. But I'll get it done as much as I can, as possible. So just bear with me. I'll get it done as much as I could. Before I get started, make sure you all like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think. Hit the notification bell, and hit all so you are alerted of when I make brand new uploads. So, without any further ado, let's begin. So, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen 2009. Here we go. So, Transformers ROTF, which is short for Revenge of the Fallen. Then we got, after that, DOTM to do, which is Dark of the Moon. And AOE, Age of Extinction. And TLH, obviously the last, H, sorry. TLK, there we go, the last night. So, anyways, so let's begin. So, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen is a 2009 American science fiction film based on Hasbro's toy line. So, based on Hasbro's Transformers toy line, the film is the second installment in the film series, and a sequel to the first movie. It was directed by Michael Bay and written by A.K.A. Cougar. The name is spelled EHREN. And then just last name Kruger. So Kruger. A.K.A. Cougar. So A.K.A. Kruger, Roberto Orsi, and Alex Kurtzman. Set 2 years after the events of Revenge of the Fallen, sees Optimus Prime, voiced by Peter Cullen, Sam Witwicky, played by Shia LaBeouf, and the Autobots allying once again in the war against against the Decepticons, led by Megatron, voiced by Hugo Weaving. An ancient Decepticon named the Fallen, Decepticon named the Fallen, voiced by Tony Todd, seeks revenge on Earth and intends to find and activate a machine that would destroy the sun and all life in the process. Development of a sequel to the first Transformers movie began on May 2007, the year the first one came out, with deadlines jeopardized by possible strikes by the Directors Guild of America. It's like saying guide, but taking out the D and E and just putting LD at the end. So by the Directors Guide of America and the Screen Actors Guide, or Guild, whatever you want to call it. Michael managed to finish the production on time who he was the director, obviously. So he managed to finish the production on time with the help of both pre-visualization and a scriptment. Shooting took place between both May and September 2008, so that was around, if I did the math on this, it's like between, like, I'd say 3-4 months, back in, like, between May and September 2008, with locations in Egypt, Jordan, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and California, as well as air bases in both New Mexico and Arizona. It premiered on June 8th, 2009, the year the fourth Fast and Furious movie came out, at Roppongi Hills in the capital of Tokyo in Japan, and was released on June 24th and was released on June 24th, uh, June 24th in the US. The film received generally negative reviews from critics. It won three Golden Raspberry Awards at the 30th Golden Raspberry. So it won three Golden Raspberry Awards at the 30th Golden, not Golden, sorry, at the 30th Golden Raspberry Awards ceremony, and became the highest grossing film to win the worst pick. So, and became the highest grossing film to win the worst picture award. Sorry, I screwed up. It's just super cold. My hands are freezing like literally ice. So it's the highest grossing film to win the worst picture award. The film surpassed its predecessor's box office gross worldwide with eight eight hundred and 836 point excuse me, $836.5 million, making it the fourth highest grossing film of 2009. It was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Sound Mixing at the 82nd Academy Awards. With over 11 million home media sales in 2009, it was also the top selling film of the year in the US. It was followed by Dark of the Moon, or DOTM, in 2011. So it was obviously directed by Michael Bay. It was written by Efren Kruger, Roberto Orsi, and Alex Kurtzman. It was based on Hasbro's Transformers action figures, produced by Lorenzo di Bonaventura. So Bonaventura, Tom DeSanto, Don Murphy, and all obviously Ian Bryce. And starring obviously Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox, Josh Duhamel, Tyrese Gibson, and who's from Fast and Furious, and John Turturro. Cinematography was by Ben Steressen. It was edited by Roger Barton, Donovan Chavez, Joel Negron, Joel Negron, and Thomas A. Muldoon. The music was by the music was by where the heck is it? Where is it? Music was by obviously Steve Jablonsky. Production companies were Paramount Pictures, De Bonaventura Pictures, and also DreamWorks Pictures, and also obviously Hasbro. It was distributed by Paramount Pictures. Release dates were on June 2009. Released on the 8th in the capital of Tokyo in Japan. Released in the US on the 24th. Not sure when it was in Europe, but possibly it might have been earlier or something like that, or maybe in the middle between Japan and the US. I don't know. Running time was 150 minutes, which, if you wanted like simple math equation, that would be like up to like at least 2.5 hours. I would say, if my math is correct. Is it? Yeah, 2.5 hours. So 2 hours and 30 minutes. Country was obviously the U.S. Its language is obviously so country is the U.S. Language English. Budget between $200 and $210 million. So it's a $10 million difference. Box office was obviously $836.5 million. Again, making it the fourth highest grossing film of 2009. Nominated for the Academy Award for Best Sound Mixing and the 82nd Academy Awards with over 11 million home media sales in 2009. Also the top-selling film of the year in the US, followed by Darker the Moon in 2011. All right, next up we got is plot. So we all know how this story goes. If you don't know, then you're not alone because I'm about to explain to you how the whole story goes. So here we go. So bear with me. So next part is plot. In 17,000 BC, the dynasty of Primes, the highest ruling Cybertronians collect energon from star harvesters, machines that consume stars to harness to harness their energy. The seven primes have a sacred rule to never deplete a star that sustains life. One prime violates this rule by so one of the primes violated this rule by ordering the construction of a star harvester on Earth, for which he became the Fallen, the original Decepticon, and was defeated by the other primes. In the present day, 2 years after the Battle of Mission City, the Autobots and the humans have formed NEST, which stands for Non-Biological Extraterrestrial Species Treaty, a classified joint task force to eliminate the remaining Decepticons. Two of them, Sideways and Demolisher, are defeated in Shanghai, in China, but the latter warns of the Fallen's return before being killed. Uh, Obviously, I forgot how Demolisher was destroyed, but I know how Sideways was destroyed. He got cut in half by Sideswipe. and and for those who don't know what kind of form they were, Sideways excuse me, Sideways was a V8 powered Audi R8 because at that time it didn't have a V10 until like a couple years later when it had a Lambo V10. At the time it had a 4.2-liter V8 from an RS4. Pretty cool. Then we had Sideswipe, who transformed into a concept version of the Corvette Stinger, which is super dang cool. But like the one from 2011, because it just looks more like realistic, like concept like. It's like a mix of like realism and concept like combined together to form something like cool and futuristic. Anyways, so yeah, the construction. So, hold on, what was it? So yeah, two of them, Sideways and Demolisher, are defeated in Shanghai, but the latter warns of the Fallen's return before being killed. Meanwhile, the Decepticon Soundwave hacks a military satellite to track and steal the last known piece of the Allspark shard from a U.S. Navy base in in Diego Garcia, which is in where the heck is it in? So Diego Garcia, the largest island of the Chagos archipelago, part of the British Indian Ocean Territory, or BIOT. It's been used as a joint UK-US military base since the 70s. Following the expulsion of the Chagosians by the UK government, the Chargo Islands have been a British overseas territory, but in early October 2024, around 3-4 months ago, I think, the UK engaged in discussions with Mauritius, so Mauritius, with a view to transfer sovereignty, something like that. Spelled SOVEREIGNTY of the islands, while allowing the military base to remain under a 99-year, so less than like technically a 100-year lease, pending a treaty ratification. Man, I don't know much about this whole island situation, but I don't know much about this at all. Like, never had. But oh well. So meanwhile, the Decepticon Soundwave hacks a military. So the Decepticon Soundwave hacks a military satellite. Satellite to track and steal the last known piece of the Allspark shard from a U.S. Navy base in Diego Garcia. Originally, Soundwave was like a satellite dish. When Darker the Moon came out in 2011, he transformed into the new 2011 SLS AMG, which is a fantastic looking car. The doors are a bit like a bit not to most people's liking. I mean, I like going doors, but I mean, Back to the Future for the Time Machine, DeLorean, DMC-12, yes. Almost SLR, they kind of are going doors, but not so much. SLS, I don't know. I mean, they're kind of cool, but if you're in a parking lot, for example, and you're trying to get out, you're gonna like dent both the car and the door, which you do not want to do. So I just go with like the old-fashioned way, just like in and out like the doors, just much better, like the proper way. Anyways, so where was it? Meanwhile, the Decepticon Soundwave hacks a military satellite to both. So meanwhile, the Decepticon Soundwave hacks a military satellite to track and steal the last known piece of the Allspark shard from a U.S. Navy base in Diego Garcia. To construct the Constructicons use it to resurrect Megatron while tearing off parts from one of their own to make repairs to his body, and Megatron returns to the Fallen. The Fallen sends Megatron and his second-in-command, Starscream, to capture Sam Witwicky to both capture Sam Witwicky alive and kill Optimus Prime. Speaking of Sam, we got the next part. Meanwhile, Sam now attending college at excuse me, at Princeton University, which was a private Ivy League research university in the where is it? In the municipality of Princeton in New Jersey. Meanwhile, Sam, now attending college at Princeton University at Princeton, New Jersey, has been seeing Cybertronian symbols since holding a smaller Allspark shard, the one that like was similar to the one Optimus pulled out of Megatron after he killed Megatron in the first movie after he turned up Jazz in half. I mean, they should bring back the old Autobots. They should bring back Jazz if they're planning to make a new Transformers movie. If I'm not saying they should, but if they will, they should. Excuse me. They should bring back the old Autobots, literally, because it's not the same without them. It's just not. It just isn't. Anyways, yeah. So, meanwhile, Sam, now attending college at Princeton University, has been seeing Cybertronian symbols since holding a smaller Allspark shard. Megatron believes the symbols will lead the Decepticons to a new energon source. The shard brings many of the kitchen appliances to life, like blenders, toaster, microwave, all that kind of stuff, which attempt to kill Sam and his parents, but Bumblebee rescues them until he destroys like most of the house, like the yard, everything almost. Sam gives the shards to his girlfriend Michaela Baines, played by Megan Fox, who later captures the Decepticon Wheelie, who transformed into an RC car at that time. He's super cool. He's funny, you know. He's like one of the funniest Autobots ever. Like, honestly, I forgot who his buddy was, but it was seen in the Dark of the Moon. His buddy, I forgot who. He looked. Excuse me. I don't even know what his name was. I kind of forgot his name, but he's like friends with Wheelie. I don't know like who he was called, but he was just super funny. Both of them are just cool, but Wheelie's like the most funniest. Because he transformed into this like pickup truck RC car thing, or he transforms into. But anyways, Sam gives the shard to his girlfriend Michaela Baines, played by Megan Fox, who later captures the Decepticon Wheelie, who he became like on Sam's side. So he's technically like an Autobot, as I will kind of like an Autobot, as I would like to call it. Kind of. I mean, he was friends with like Michaela and Sam, and I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell if he's a Autobot or a Decepticon because he seems friendly. But anyways, so Sam gives the shard to his girlfriend Michaela Baines, played by Megan Fox, who later captures the Decepticon Wheelie as he attempts to steal it. After being attacked by Alice, a Decepticon pretender posing as a college student, Sam, his roommate Leo, and Michaela are captured by the Decepticon Grinder. It's like saying grinder by taking out the letter E and putting O between the D and the R. Before the Autobots save them, Optimus fights off Megatron, Starscream, and Grinder before Optimus kills Grinder. Megatron then kills Optimus while he defends Sam, and the Decepticons launch devastating attacks around the world while Megatron and Soundwave hijack Earth's telecommunication systems, which allows the Fallen to send a message to the humans demanding that Sam be handed over to him. What was Sam, Michaela, and Leo then find uh, both alien experiment and former Sector 7 agent, who he works in like some kind of meat market, Seymour Simmons, who reveals that who reveals that Transformers had visited Earth for a long time, and some known as Seekers remained hidden on Earth. With help from Wheelie, they tracked down an elderly Decepticon turned Autobot seeker named Jetfire at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. I'm not sure where that's located. Somewhere in the U.S., I think. I'm not too sure. So it's in Washington D.C. in the U.S. technically. So it's a museum in Washington D.C. Anyways, so yeah. With help from Wheelie, they track down an elderly Decepticon turned Autobot seeker named Jetfire at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. They use their shard to revive Jetfire, like to bring him back to life, who teleports the group to Egypt. Along with Jetfire, Wheelie sides with the Autobots, and Jetfire sends them to locate the Matrix of Leadership, the Star Harvester's key, which could also be used to revive Optimus, like in other words, to bring him back to life. The group finds the Matrix, which the Primes sacrificed themselves to hide, but it disintegrates into dust. Meanwhile, both Nest Forces and the Autobots land near the Giza Pyramid Complex. The Giza Pyramid Complex, and are attacked by the Decepticons. The Constructicons combine to form Devastator, who reveal the Star Harvester inside a pyramid before he's destroyed by the Navy. Before he's destroyed by the Navy's railgun. As U.S. Military reinforcements arrive, the Decepticons are annihilated. The Decepticons are annihilated by multiple airstrikes from the Navy, and the U.S. Air Force. But Megatron manages to kill Sam. The Primes speak to Sam, saying that the Matrix must be earned, not found, and that he has the right to bear it by sacrificing himself for Optimus. They resurrect Sam and grant him the Matrix, which he uses to resurrect Optimus and bring him back to life. The Fallen steals the Matrix from a weakened Optimus and uses it to activate the Star Harvester. After Jetfire, who is wounded by Scorponok, but was able to kill his attacker, sacrifices himself to allow his parts to be used for additional power and flight. Optimus destroys the Harvester, severely wounds Megatron, and kills the Fallen. Heavily damaged and distraught by his master's death, Megatron retreats with Starscream. Both the Autobots and their allies then return to the U.S., and both Sam and Leo return to college, and Michaela possibly joins joins like the Navy or something. I got no clue at all. I think she was, because we've seen like before the credits, like the post credits scene, like where it shows like the what it was produced by, and like the cast's names and all that kind of stuff. We saw Michaela at the at like some army, like some U.S. Navy kind of battleship. Like I've seen these before. It's like I don't really know the correct name of it, but it's like those army like ships, like those boats where it carries like planes and all that kind of stuff. It's one of those, and so yeah, and and that was pretty much it. We never heard from Michaela ever again, but she was kind of mentioned by Wheelie. Um, the that the little Autobot Decepticon thing, the little kind of like pickup truck RC vehicle, who was friends with. He mentions Michaela, but without saying her name. Um, when Sam was with his new partner, Carly, and really said, "What if she leaves him like Michaela did?" Anyways, next up we got his cast. So it's pretty much easy. Um, we got Shia LaBeouf as Sam Witwicky, a recent high school graduate who's unwittingly drawn again into the Autobot cause to unravel an ancient mystery implanted into his mind by the now destroyed Allspark. Say Shia LaBeouf as Sam Witwicky, Megan Fox as Megan Fox as Michaela Baines, Sam's girlfriend, whom he trusts as the Allspark fragments begin to unravel. So we got Josh Duhamel as Mayor William Lennox, a U.S. Army Ranger who establishes Nest to help the Autobots in their battle against the remaining Decepticons. We got Tyrese Gibson as Robert Epps, a U.S. Air Force Master Sergeant and combat controller in Lennox's team, who leads Nest's SWAT unit. Josh Turturro as Seymour Simmons, a former. Then we got Josh Turturro as Seymour Simmons, a former agent of the recently terminated Sector 7 who now runs a meat shop in New York City with his mother, Tava Simmons, played by Annie Corzin. Next up, we got is Ramon Rodriguez as Leo Spitz. His last name is spelled Spitz or Spitz. A college roommate of Sam's who runs an online conspiracy blog and is obsessed with the Transformers. Before he was cast, Jonah Hill was in talks to play the role, but Seth Rogen, Seth Rogen, who's a Canadian actor, comedian, and filmmaker from Vancouver in British Columbia, Canada, born April 15th, 1982, age 42. But Seth Rogen, so he advised him to turn it down to focus instead on his own projects. Jonah Hill chose instead to do Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian, which that came out in, when did it came out? I've seen the movie, but, 2009. So to do 2009's Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian instead. Then we got Kevin Dunn and Julie White as the parents of Sam. So Kevin plays Ron Witwicky as Sam's father, and Julie plays Judith or Judy, as Ron calls him, who is Sam's mother. Then we got Isabel Lucas as Alice, a female pretender sent to spy on Sam in college. Then we got John Benjamin Hickey as Theodore Galloway, a national security advisor who often chastises. Can't really say it well, but it spells CHAST Nest and the Autobots for their destructive tactics. Then we got Glenn Morshower as General Morshower, the supervisor of Nest. Then we got Matthew Marsden as Captain Graham, a British Army Special Air Service Nest officer. Then we got Rainn Wilson as Professor R.A. Colin, Sam and Leo's astronomy teacher. Then we got Michael Papajohn as Colin Cal Baines, Michael's father. Not Michael, sorry. Michaela's father, sorry. Sorry, I'm just tired. Then we got the voices of the Autobots and the Decepticons. We got, obviously, Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots, who transforms into a blue and red 1994 Peterbilt 379 semi-trailer truck. Then we got Hugo Weaving as Megatron, the Fallen's apprentice, and the leader of the Decepticons who transforms into a flying Cybertronian tank. Then we got Tony Todd as the Fallen, a Prime who's the first and founder of the Decepticons, as well as the Master of Megatron. Then we got Mark Ryan as both Bumblebee, an Autobot scout, and Sam's Guardian, who transforms into a yellow and black, or black and yellow, 2009 Camaro, and Jetfire, a former Decepticon seeker turned Autobot, who transforms into a Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird. Then we got Jess Harnell as Ironhide, the Autobot weapons specialist, and the Autobot weapons specialist, and Optimus's new second in command, who transforms into a black 2009 GMC Topkick C4500. Then we got Robert Foxworth as Ratchet, the Autobot medical officer, who transforms into a yellow, kind of like a yellowish greenish, 2009 Search and Rescue Hummer H2 ambulance. Then we got Charlie Adler as Starscream, Megatron's second in command, who transforms into a Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor. So F-22 Raptor. Then we got Frank Weller as these four Decepticons. Soundwave, the Decepticon communications officer who orbits Earth as a Cybertronian satellite, later turns into an SLS AMG in 2011's DOTM. Then we got Ravage, a stealthy Jaguar-like Decepticon who transforms into a Cybertronian missile and is developed by Soundwave. Then we got Reedman, a razor-thin Decepticon composed of the Microcons, thousands of Decepticons who transform into metal beads that are developed by Ravage. And then we got Grindor, a large Decepticon. Sorry. Excuse me. A large Decepticon who transforms into a CH-53E Super Stallion helicopter. Then we got Devastator, a massive Decepticon who's the combination of 10 construction vehicles. In the Transformers lore, these vehicles are meant to be individual Decepticons called the Constructicons, the construction versions of the Decepticons. In the film, however, only Mixmaster, Scrapper, Scrap Metal, and Long Haul transform into robots, and they appear separate from Devastator. Concept art was created for the others, but most of them were only featured in the related toy lines. The named Constructicons are Mixmaster, Black and Silver Mac, Concrete Mixer Truck that transforms into the head, Scrapper, Yellow Caterpillar, 99 2G Scoop Loader that transforms into the right arm, Scrap Metal, a yellow Volvo, EC700C Crawler Excavator fitted with a Stanley UP45SV attachment that transforms into the left hand. Then we got Long Haul, a green Caterpillar, 77 3B dump truck that transforms into the right leg. And we got Scavenger, a red and white Terex ONK RH400 excavator-like demolisher that transforms into both the upper torso and the shoulders. Then we got Hightower, a yellow Kobelco CKE 2502 crawler crane that transforms into the left arm. Then we got Overload, a red KW Darts D4661, or D4661 tractor truck, articulated dump truck that transforms into both the lower torso and thighs. Then we got Skipjack, Caterpillar, D9T bulldozer, like Rampage, who transforms into the left leg. Then we got Andrei Soglioso as Sideswipe, the Autobot combat instructor, who transforms into a silver 2009 concept version of the Chevy Corvette Stingray, which is a fantastic looking car. Then we got Tom Kenny as Wheelie. So Tom Kenny as Wheelie, a former Decepticon spy, later turned Autobot, who transforms into a blue radio-controlled toy monster truck based on a Ford F-350. Then we got Skids, who is also voiced, who Tom also voices. He voices both Wheelie and Skids, who's an Autobot infiltrator, and Mudflap's twin, who first um, transforms into the front half of a custom-built ice cream truck, and later a green 2007 Chevy Beat. Then we got Reno Wilson as Mudflap, and another Autobot infiltrator, and Skids' twin, who also first transforms into the back half of a custom-built ice cream truck, and later a red 2007 Chevy Trax. Then we got Gray Delizel, spelled Delisle, as the three motorcycles RC, Chromia, and Elita 1, a trio of female Autobot sisters who transforms into a pink Ducati 848, a blue Suzuki B King, and respectively also a purple MV Augusta F4. Then we got Calvin Weimer as a Demolisher, credited as Wheelbot, a massive Constructicon who transforms into both a red and white Terex OMK RH 400 excavator. Then we got John DeCrosta as Scalpel, credited as Doctor, a spider-like Decepticon who transforms into a 1938 American Optical 603 Lensmeter, or something like that. Anyways, then we got Michael York as Prime number 1, one of the 7 primes. Then we got Kevin Michael Richardson as Prime number 2, another one of the 7 primes. Then we got Rampage, credited as Skipjack, a Constructicon who a Constructicon who transforms into a red Caterpillar D9T bulldozer. And last but certainly not the very least, we got Robin Atkin Downs. Spelled, it's the word down and then ES. So spelled DOWNES as Prime number 3, another one of the 7 primes. Now we got the non-speaking characters. So first one we got is Jolt. And the first of the 4 non-speaking characters we got is Jolt, an Autobot technician who transforms into a blue 2009 Chevy Volt, which I think those are just terrible looking cars. I mean, I love Chevys, Camaros, Corvettes, all that kind of stuff, Chevy pickup trucks, but the Chevy 2009 Chevy Volt, I don't think so. It's like one of those terrible electric cars, I think. They're just terrible. So we got Jolt, an Autobot technician who transforms into a blue 2009 Chevy Volt. Then we got Sideways, a Decepticon surveillance agent who transforms into a silver V8 powered 2009 Audi R8, because at that time it didn't have a V10 until a couple of years later when Lamborghini was joined with Audi for the R8, so that they could put their V10 into it. Because obviously Lamborghini's owned by Audi, because Audi do like everything, like 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 the engine, like just like the whole engineering basics, like the drivetrain, gearbox, possibly engine or something like that. Lamborghini does like all the crazy parts, like the styling, looks, everything like that. Anyway, so for non-speaking characters, we got Jolt, and an Autobot technician who transforms into a blue 2009 Chevy Volt. Then we got Sideways, a Decepticon surveillance agent who transforms into a silver 2009 R8. 2009 Audi R8. He hides out in Shanghai alongside Demolisher, Then we got Scorponic, a scorpion-like Decepticon who was a minion of Blackout's in the previous film. And last but certainly not the very least, we got his Bone Crusher, a Decepticon soldier who transforms into a Buffalo H mine protect. It transforms into a Buffalo H mine protected vehicle, and was killed in the previous film. If it was killed in the previous film, then how the heck is it? And how why is it is on the non-speaking characters list for the second part of the movie if it was killed in the first one? I don't understand. Anyways, next up we got is production. Starting off with the first one is the development. So before the release of the first film, Paramount Pictures began developing two sequels. Paramount Pictures began developing two sequels. That was before the first movie came out. Major hurdles for the film's initial production stages included the 2007 to 2008 Writers Guide of America strike, as well as the threat of strikes by other guides. As well as the threat of strikes by other guides. Prior to a potential Directors Guide of America strike, Prior to a potential Directors Guide of America strike, director Michael Bay began creating animatics of action sequences featuring characters rejected for the 2007 film, so rejected for the first film. This would allow animators to complete sequences if the Directors Guild of America went on strike in July 2008, which ultimately didn't happen. So it did not happen. When asked about directing a sequel while prompting the first movie, Michael said, "You have your baby and you don't want someone else to take it." Don't know why they say that, but well, oh well. Screenwriters Roberto Orsi and Alex Kurtzman, who had written the first film, originally passed on the opportunity to write a sequel due to schedule conflicts. The studio began courting other writers in May 2007, but were not impressed with other pitches, and eventually convinced both Roberto and Alex to return. The studio also hired Aaron Kruger, who had impressed both Michael and Hasbro president Brian Goldner. His last name is Gold and then Ner. With his knowledge of the Transformers mythology, the writing trio were paid $8 million. Screenwriting was interrupted by the 2007-2008 Writers Guild of America strike, but to avoid production delays, the writers spent 2 weeks writing a treatment which they handed in the night before the strike began. Michael then expanded the outline into a 60-page script, which included more action, humor, and characters. The three writers spent 4 months finishing the screenplay while locked into hotel rooms by Michael. Kruger wrote wrote in his own room, and the trio would check on each other's work twice a day. Roberto described the film's theme as being away from home, with the Autobots contemplating living on Earth as they cannot restore Cybertron while Sam goes to college. He wanted to focus between both the robots and humans, much more evenly balanced. The stakes to be higher and more focused on the science fiction elements. Orsi added he wanted to modulate the humor more and felt he managed the more outrageous jokes by balancing them with a more serious plot approach to the Transformers' mythology. Michael concurred that he wanted to please fans by making the tone darker, and that mothers will think it's safe enough to bring the kids back out to the movies. Two elements were added late in the film. Autobot Jolt, as GM, General Motors, wanted to advertise the Chevy Volt, and the railgun that kills Devastator, a new acquisition by the U.S. military. In September 2007, um, Paramount announced a release date um, for the sequel to the first movie in late June 2009. The film was given a 200 million the film was given a $200 million budget, which was 50 million more, so $50 million more than the $50 million more than the first film, because the first one I think was 150 million. I don't know. Say 50 more, so which was 50 million more than the first film. Although Variety put the budget spend at over 210 million dollars after rebates. Some of the action scenes rejected from the first movie were written into the sequel. Producer Lorenzo Di Bonaventura later stated that the studio proposed filming two sequels simultaneously, but both him and Michael agreed that the idea wasn't the right direction for the series. Prior to the first film's release, producer Tom DeSanto had a very cool idea to introduce the Dinobots, while Michael was interested in including a transformer who transforms into an aircraft carrier, a concept which was dropped from the first movie. Um, Odyssey claimed they didn't incorporate these characters into the second movie because they couldn't think of a way to justify the Dinobots' choice of form and were unable to fit in the aircraft carrier. Uh, Orsi later admitted that that he was that he was dismissive, um, or demisive, whatever you want to call it, of the Dinobots because he didn't like dinosaurs, saying, "I recognize I'm weird in that department." However, he became fonder of them during filming because of their popularity with fans. He added, "I couldn't see why a Transformer would feel the need to disguise himself in front of a bunch of lizards. Movie wise, I mean, once the uh, uh, once the general audiences once the general audience is full on board with the whole thing, maybe Dinobots in the future." When asked on the subject, Michael said he when asked on the subject, Michael said he hated the Dinobots and they have never been in consideration for being featured in the movies. Anyways, during production, Michael attempted to create a misinformation. So during production, Michael attempted to create a misinformation or misinfo campaign to increase debates over what Transformers would be appearing in a, of what Transformers over so during production, Michael attempted to create a misinfo campaign to increase debates over what Transformers would be appearing in the film, as well as to try to throw fans off, from the story of the film. However, Orsi confessed it was generally unsuccessful. The studio went as far as to censor both MTV and Comic Book Resources interviews with both Mowry and Furman, who confirmed both Orsi and the Fallen would be in the picture. Michael told Empire that Megatron wouldn't be resurrected, claiming his new tank form was a toy only character, only for Orsi to confirm Megatron would return in the film in February 2009. Michael also claimed he faked the leaking of daily call sheets from the first week of filming that revealed Ramon Rodriguez's casting and the appearance of both Jetfire and the twins, both Skins and Mudflap. Um, Next we got his filming. Principal photography lasted from roughly June. Excuse me. So I'm filming. Principal photography lasted from roughly June to November 2008, inspired by its use in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. Three action sequences in the second installment of Transformers, so Revenge of the Fallen, were shot using IMAX cameras. Although screenwriter Roberto Orsi suggested that the IMAX footage would be 3D, Michael later said he found 3D too gimmicky, too technical, as I would call it. Michael added that shooting in IMAX was easier than using IMAX stereoscopic 3D cameras. The majority of interior scenes for the film were shot in the former Hughes aircraft sound stages at uh, Playa, Playa Vista. From June 2nd to June 4th, the production filmed an action sequence at the Bethlehem Steel site in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, which was used to represent a portion, which was used to represent a portion of Shanghai. Which was used to represent a portion of Shanghai. Afterwards, they shot at the Stephen F. Uh, Udvar Hazy at the Stephen F. Udvar Hazy Center. The crew moved to Philadelphia on June 9th, where they shot at the defunct PECO or PECO Richmond Power Station, the University of Pennsylvania, Drexel University, the Eastern State Penitentiary, Laurel Hill Cemetery, Philadelphia City Hall, Rittenhouse Square, Wanamaker's, and historic uh, Chancellor Street, which represents a street near Place de la Concorde in Paris, or Paris, capital of France. The production moved to Princeton University. Which was, God, I forgot where it was. The production moved to Princeton University um, in Princeton, New Jersey. So the production moved to Princeton University in Princeton, New Jersey on June 22nd. Filming there angered some students at the University of Pennsylvania, believing Michael had chosen to reshoot scenes at Princeton and script Princeton's name in the film. Why would they anger some students? I don't get it. I thought they loved this, but whatever. Anyways, one shot that was filmed in the University of Pennsylvania was the party scene. One shot that was filmed in one shot that was filmed in the University of Pennsylvania was the party scene, filmed at what students call the castle. So the castle's home to the PSI Upsilon fraternity. However, neither the University of Pennsylvania nor Princeton gave Michael permission to be named in the film because of a scene that both institutions felt did not represent the school in which Sam's mother ingests marijuana laced marijuana laced brownies. Kind of an odd combo, but anyways, Michael scheduled a break from Michael scheduled a break for filming starting on June 30th, turning his attention to both animation and second unit scenes because of the potential guild strike. Shooting for the Shanghai battle later shooting for the Shanghai battle later continued in Long Beach, which was so shooting for the Shanghai battle later continued in Long Beach in the southeastern LA County in California. In Long Beach, California. In September, the crew shot at Holloman Air Force Base. It's a Holloman Air Force Base in Otero County, New Mexico. So the crew shot at Holloman Air Force Base in Otero County, and White Sands Missile Range. So White Sands Missile Range in the U.S. state of New Mexico. So New Mexico. The two locations were used for Qatar in the first movie and stood in for Egypt in this film. A scale model in LA was also used. So a scale model in LA So in LA was also used for some close-ups of the pyramids, shooting at Tucson International Airport. Uh, Tucson, sorry, Tucson International Air. So Tucson International Airport, south like 7 miles. It's like 7 miles south of downtown Tucson in Pima County, Arizona. And that was where Brian O'Connor was originally from. From the first movie, he was originally from Tucson, Arizona. Imagine, imagine what it'd be like if the last Fast and Furious movie would go back to its original time, like when Brian revisits his original place before he moved to California. Like what it was like if he was originally in Tucson, Arizona. Anyways, so that's what I think. Anyways, so where the heck was I? So a scale model in LA was also used for some close-ups of the pyramids, shooting at Tucson International Airport. So, say the two locations were used for Qatar in Transformers, the first movie, and stood in for Egypt in this film. A scale model in LA was also used for some close-ups of the pyramids, shooting at Tucson International Airport, and the 309th Aerospace Maintenance and Regeneration Group's aircraft Boneyard took place in October under the fake working title Prime Directive, a reference to Star Trek. Filming also took place at Camp Pendleton. So Camp Pendleton, Davis Monthan Air Force Base, Imperial Beach Naval Amphibious Base, Coronado, Naval Base Point Loma, and San Diego Bay. The first unit then shot for 72 hours in Egypt at the Giza Pyramid Complex and Luxor. The shoot was highly secretive, but according to producer Lorenzo di Bonaventura, a crew of 150 Americans and several dozen local Egyptians uh, ensured a remarkably smooth shoot. Michael earned the Egyptian government's approval to film at the pyramids by contacting Zahi Hawass. Well, so Zahi Hawass, whom Michael said, put his arm around me and said, "Don't hurt my pyramids." Said, "Don't hurt my pyramids." Oh, God, I just hearing like saying it, it just don't hurt my pyramids. Just hurts so much, and it just hurts inside. Like, bless them. I mean, I don't know what to say. Just, well, ah, so don't hurt my pyramids. Yeah. It'd be a shame if they would have hurt his pyramids. That would have been like the worst. Anyway, so a 50-foot tall camera crane. So a 50-foot tall. So a 50-foot tall camera crane was used at the location. Michael stated Michael stated he found Michael stated he found the climax of the first film to be weak, partially because it was shot across 5 different city blocks, making the action both confusing and hard to follow. On this film, the final battle in Egypt was devised to make it easier to follow the action. 96 hours were then spent in Jordan. The Royal Jordanian Air Force aided in filming at Petra, uh, Petra, Wadi Rum, and Salt because King Abdullah II is a big fan of science fiction movies. I'm also a huge fan of science fiction as well. Like Back to the Future, Transformers, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, some Avengers, they have some kind of science kind of tech into it. Anyways, filming continued. So filming continued at the Place de la Concorde, or just Concorde, but with an E at the end, in Paris, so in Paris, with second unit shots of the Eiffel Tower at the Arc de Triomphe. I can't pronounce that. It's spelled Triomphe. Both the cast and crew finished principal photography on the aircraft carrier USS. So USS John C. Stennis on which was uh, a CVN 74 named for Senator John C. Stennis of Mississippi is the seventh of the Nimitz class of nuclear powered su- supercarriers in the U.S. Navy. So both the cast and crew um, finished principal photography on the aircraft carrier USS John C. Stennis on November 2nd, 2008. What does the C mean for John C. Stennis? What was it? Senator John Cornelius Stennis. So John Cornelius Stennis of Mississippi, born January 3rd, not January, sorry, August 3rd, 1901. Passed away April 23rd, 1995. Rest in peace. So he was born in Kemper County, Mississippi, passed away in Jackson, Mississippi, age 93. Man, I don't know what to say. Like, God, may rest in peace, man. We miss you, pal. Maybe gone, but you're never forgotten. You'll always be remembered. Yes, yeah. So both the cast and crew finished principal photography on the aircraft carrier USS John C. or Cornelius, I think. Cornelius, I don't know. So John C. Stennis on November 2nd, 2008. Next up, we got his visual effects. Hasbro became more involved in the design. So Hasbro became more involved in the designs of the robots than the company was for the first film. The company, along with Takara Tomy, which is a Japanese toy company, which they do Transformers as well, headquartered in Katsushika in Tokyo, in the capital of Japan. Anyways, so visual effects. Hasbro became more involved in the designs of the robots than the company was for the first film. The company, along with Takara Tomy, suggested to the filmmakers that combining robots be the main draw for the sequel. They insisted on keeping the alternate modes of some of the returning characters similar so that consumers wouldn't have to buy toys of the same characters. Michael used a real F-16 fighting Falcon and tank fire when filming the battles. Many of the new Autobot vehicles supplied by GM were brightly colored to look distinctive on screen. ROTF features 46 robots, while the original movie had just 14. Scott Farrar returned as visual effects both supervisor and anticipated moodier use of lighting as well as deeper roles for the Decepticons. He stated that with the bigger deadline, post production would become a circus. He stated that with the bigger deadline, post production said the producers expected that with a bigger budget and with the special effects having worked out, the Transformers would have a bigger role. Peter Cullen recalled Don Murphy mentioned to me only because of the tremendous expense to animate Optimus Prime. He'll be in just a certain amount of Transformers, but he said next time, if the movie is a success, you're gonna be you're gonna be in it a ton. Michael hopes to include more close-ups of the robots' faces. The heads had to be designed with more pieces in order to express emotions in a more convincing way. Farrar said the animators implemented more splashes and the hits and the fighting on dirt or moving, banging into trees, things splinter and break, The robots spit, they outgas, sweat, snort. Shooting in the higher resolution of IMAX required up to just 3 days, so 72 hours to render a single frame of animation. Uh, while while ILM used 15 terabytes, that's a lot, for Transformers, they used 140 for the sequel. Particularly problematic effects were the lighting, with scenes such as Jetfire inside the with scenes such as Jetfire inside the Smithsonian requiring 41 light sources. 41 light sources, and the destruction of the pyramid, which appears in about 5 shots and required 7 months, so over half a year, to simulate the behavior of the blocks. Odyssey hinted the majority of the Decepticons were entirely CG in both robot and alternate modes, making it easier to write additional scenes for them in post production. Rendering the Devastator took over 85% of ILM's render farm capacity, uh, and the complexity of the scene and having to render it at IMAX resolution caused one computer to explode. Digital Domain handled work on secondary characters, including the transformation of Alice from her human disguise to a including the transformation of Alice from her human disguise to her robot self. The start showing a close up of her face as the skin broke apart took 5 animators 3 months to finish. Okay, next up we got is last one is music, and then we'll move on to the next part, which is marketing. So the score to ROTF was both composed and produced by Steve Jablonsky, who reunited with director Michael Bay to record his source with a 71-piece assemble of the Hollywood Studio Symphony. So it's not almost a sympathy, but it's Hollywood Studio Symphony. There we go, or HSS as they call it, at the SSS. So Sony's scoring stage. Both Jablonsky and his score producer, Hans Zimmer, composed very excuse me, composed various interpretations of a song by Linkin Park called New Divide. So New Divide by Linkin Park for the score. So may rest in peace, Chester Bennington. Because it's not the same without him. Both him and Mike Shinoda was just legends, but without Chester, it's not the same without. Linkin Park was never the same without Chester Bennington. Rest in peace, buddy. Maybe gone, but you're never forgotten. We'll always remember you, pal. From the day we die, we'll always remember you. And remember everybody else. Because we'll always care about you, pal. Always have, always will, brother. Always. So both Jablonsky and his score producer, Hans Zimmer, composed various interpretations of a song by Linkin Park called New Divide for the score. Rapper Kid Cudie's 2009 single, Sky Might Fall, appears in the extended trailer. Next up is marketing. The marketing campaign for ROTF cost $150 million. Hasbro's ROTF toy line includes new molds of both new and returning characters, as well as 2007 figures with either new mold elements or new paint schemes. The first wave was released on May 30th. Although both Bumblebee and Soundwave debuted beforehand, the second wave came in August 2009, which introduced toys such as 2.5-inch human action figures that fit inside the transforming robots and non-transforming replicas of the cars that could be used on a racetrack. Product placement partners of the film include Burger King, 7-Eleven, LG Phones, Kmart, Papa John's, Walmart, YouTube, Nike Incorporated, M&M's, and Snickers. So like the chocolate bar and all that kind of stuff. So 10 product placement partners. GM's financial troubles limited its involvement in promotion of the sequel, although Paramount acknowledged that either with or without General Motors, their marketing campaign was still very large and had the foundation of the 2007's film's success. Kyle Busch, or Bush, I can't pronounce it, but it's spelled B-U-S CH, drove a ROTF decorated car at Infineon Raceway. Uh, God knows where the heck that is. So Kyle Busch drove a ROTF decorated car at Infineon Raceway, known as Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma County, California. Which I might do a video on Sonoma Raceway. I'm not too sure, but oh well, got no clue about that. But I might do like Sonoma Raceway, originally known as Sears Point Raceway, Golden State International Raceway, and Infineon Raceway, which is both a road course and drag race, drag strip located at Sears Point in the southern Sonoma Mountains of Sonoma County, California. Of Sonoma County, located in the U.S. state of California. I might visit Sonoma County one day. Never know. Of 2020 U.S. census, it was populated at 488,863 people. Its seat of government and largest city is Santa Rosa. 2025, however, now I probably would be, I don't know, a little bit less or even a bit more, I guess. I don't know, but I've got no clue at all. But again, I might do Sonoma Raceway. Never know. Anyways, so Kyle Busch drove a ROTF decorated car at Infineon Raceway, known as just Sonoma Raceway, in Sonoma County, California, on June 21st, 2009, while Josh Duhamel drove a 2010 Camaro at the Indy 500. Who was Captain Lennox in the Transformers franchise. In the first one, second one, what else? Third one probably. I don't think he was in the fourth one, but I know he was in the fifth one. I know that for sure. He was in what else? He was in like some video games, like for example, Call of Duty World War II 2017. He was in, which is pretty cool. Never played the game though, but I doubt it. But anyways, so Kyle Busch drove a ROTF decorated car at Infineon Raceway on June 21st, 2009, while Josh Duhamel drove a 2010 Camaro at the Indy 500. At the movie's launch in China, a version of Bumblebee was constructed using a VW Jetta. What? Now, come on. Why would you use a Jetta for this? Oh my god. What in the world? Really? I don't know what the world has gone into, but they are just nuts. Just crazy. Who would go with such a car like that? What? Oh, come on. Now, I mean, I love the Jetta, but only from Fast and Furious. In reality, well, not quite. I mean, I love VWs. I mean, like, the Golf is pretty good. But not so much in just real life. Anyways, so at the movie's launch in China, a version of Bumblebee was constructed using a VW Jetta. Next up, we got is printed media. Both Chris Mowry and artist Alex Milne, I can't pronounce the word. It's spelled M-I... Sorry. It's spelled M-I-L-N-E. Excuse me. Who had collaborated on the Reign of Starscream comic book, reunited for IDW Publishing's prequel to the film, originally set to be a five-part series entitled Destiny. It was split into two simultaneously published series. So split into two simultaneously published series titled Alliance and Defiance. Alliance is drawn by Milne and began in December 2008. It focuses on both the human and Autobot perspectives. Um, so both the human and Autobot perspectives. Defiance, which started the following months. So Defiance, which started the following month, is drawn by Don Kana. So Khanna, and it sets before either film. It was set before either film, showing the beginnings of the war. After the original film from 2007, and serving as a bridge between the two films, Alan Dean Foster wrote Transformers: The Veiled Threat, originally titled Infiltration. During the writing, Foster collaborated, or Alan collaborated with IDW to make sure their stories didn't contract each other. The first printed media directed, directly, the first printed media directly related to the second film was a 32-page coloring and activity book by publisher HarperCollins, which became available on May 5th, 2009, and was the first official source to openly give out key plot points to the film. On June 1st, 2009, um, DK Publishing published a 96-page book entitled Transformers: The Movie Universe, which intended to provide factual data on the characters of the film. On June 10th, 2009, the comic book adaptation of the film, written by Simon Furman, was released. Additionally, Alan Dean Foster also wrote the novelization for the film. Meanwhile, Dan Jolly wrote Transformers ROTF, the junior novel, a 144-page book orientated at a younger audience that the one by Foster. The one by Foster. Lastly, a book titled Transformers: The Art Transformers: The Art of the Movie. So Art of the Movies was released, documenting behind the scenes aspects of the making of the film. Other minor tie-in publications include including Revenge of the Fallen, The Last Prime, Revenge of the Fallen, the reusable sticker book, uh, Revenge of the Fallen Made You Look, in exclamation mark, Revenge of the Fallen, Rise of the Decepticons, Revenge of the Fallen, Spot the Bots, Revenge of the Fallen, Mix and Match, Operation Autobot, When Robots Attack, and Revenge of the Fallen 2010 Wall Calendar. Now we got video games. So on June 23rd, 2009, Activision published a video game based on the film. So Activision published a video game based on the film for PS3, Xbox 360, PS2. PS3, Xbox 360 or X360 for short, PS2, PSP, and Nintendo Wii, Nintendo DS, and games for Windows. Both the PS3 and the X360 versions were developed by Luxoflux, Luxoflux, and published by Activision. The games for Windows version was developed by Beanox, which is similar to both the PS3 and the Xbox 360 version. Both the Nintendo Wii and PS2 versions were developed by Chrome Studios. It's not Chrome with CH, but it's with a K. It's spelled KROME. So Chrome Studios. The PSP version was developed by Savage Entertainment. Kind of a crazy name for that, but oh well. And the last one, the Nintendo DS version, was developed by Vicarious Visions, which is separated into two games, Autobots and Decepticons. Next we got is release. Starting off with the first one is theatrical. ROTF premiered on June 8th, 2009, in the capital of Tokyo in Japan, which I might visit Japan one time. I don't know. After its UK release on June 19th, it was released in both standard and IMAX theaters in North America on June 24th. Although some theaters held limited access advance screenings on June 22nd, Lincoln Park held a special show after the premiere at the Fox Theater in Westwood Village on June 22nd, during which they performed New Divide live for the first time. The IMAX release featured additional scenes of extended robot fighting sequences which were not seen in the regular theater version. Last one we got is home media, and then move on to the next part after that, which would be reception. So, home media. The film was released in 2 disc Blu ray and DVD editions, and a single disc DVD version on October 20th, 2009, 11 days before Halloween. In North America, Michael Bay has revealed that the Blu ray release of the film, produced by Lauzieri, Charles de Lauzirica, features variable aspect ratio for the scenes shot in IMAX format. A special big screen IMAX edition was available exclusively at Walmart. Home versions include over 3 hours of bonus content and several interactive features, including the Allspark Entertainment, not entertainment, the Allspark Experiment, the Allspark Experiment, which reveals Michael Bay's plans for a third movie, in the series, which came out in 2011. At Target, so the store, both the DVD and Blu-ray versions includes a transformable Bumblebee case. Both 2 disc editions are the first to include Paramount's augmented reality feature, which allows the user to handle a 3D model of Optimus Prime on a computer by moving the package in front of a webcam. First week sales of the DVD reached 7.5 million copies, making it the best-selling DVD of 2009. The Blu-ray version had the best first week sales of so the Blu-ray version had the best first week sales of 2009 with 1.2 million units. Transformers ROTF was released on 4K UHD Blu-ray on December 5th, 2017. The film grossed in-home sales $276 million. It's pretty good. All right, next up we got is reception. Starting off with the first part is box office. ROTF was a box office success, earning $402.1 million in both the US and Canada, and $434.2 million internationally, for a worldwide total of $836.5 million, being the 37th highest grossing film of all time domestically. The movie grossed $16 million from midnight showings at the time, the most ever for a the most ever for a Wednesday midnight debut. For 13 years, it achieved the biggest previews for a Paramount film until 2022, when Top Gun Maverick, which had like a total of $19.3 million, took it. So a total of $19.3 million took it. The film proceeded to beat Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix's record of $44.2 million for the biggest Wednesday opening in history, bringing in $62 million in total receipts. The receipts on its first day, until the Twilight Saga Eclipse topped this record with $68.5 million in 2010, additionally ranking it as the second biggest opening day ever at the time, behind The Dark Knight. Behind The Dark Knight, which that came out in, when did it came out? What was it? 2008. So it's like The Dark Knight, like, this is based on Batman, technically, which came out July 16th. So July 16th. 2008. All right. So Behind the Dark Knight, the film grossed 109 or right up like $110 million on its first weekend, the seventh largest in history at the time, and brought in $200 million in its first 5 days. So 120 hours, putting it in second place. It's not too bad. Behind the Dark Knight's $203.7 million for the all-time biggest 5 days from 120-hour opening. It would hold the record for having the highest 120 hours, so 5 day Wednesday opening gross until it was taken by the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which that one came out in 2023. $204.6 million in 2023. It's gross from Friday to Sunday, from like 72 hours, like 3 days. Was also the biggest June opening weekend for 1 year, breaking 2004's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So 2004's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban's record, 93.7 million, so $93.7 million, until 2010's Toy Story 3 claimed that record the following year with $110.3 million. ROTF remained number one at the box office for 2 weeks straight by a close margin before being overtaken by. So ROTF remained number one at the box office for 2 weeks straight by a close margin before being overtaken by Bruno, which made like $30 million. And the second weekend of 2009, I think, Ice Age DOTD, so Dawn of the Dinosaurs, which they had $28 million. Initial studio estimates show. So initial studio estimates showed a tie between it and that weekend's new release, 2009's Dawn of the Dinosaurs, but the actual total showed Revenge of the Fallen taking the number one spot yet again with $42.3 million. Although, so $42.3 million. Also, it was the first film of 2009 to reach the $300 million mark in North America. On July 27th, a month after its release, the movie reached 379.2, almost $380 million in the US, which brought it into the top 10 highest grossing movies ever in that country as of August 2009. So like somewhere like mid late ish 2009. Among 2009 films, it was the second highest grossing in both the US and Canada behind Avatar, and fourth globally behind Avatar, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and of course Ice Age 3 Dawn of the Dinosaurs. Box Office Mojo estimates that the film sold over 53 million tickets in the US. Next up, we got is critical response. Oh, I thought there was going to be less, but there's a bunch on there. Anyways, so on Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 20% based on 251 reviews, with an average rating of 41%. The site's critical consensus reads: Transformers ROTF is a noisy, underplotted, and overlong special effects extravaganza that lacks a human touch. On Metacritic, it's a little bit different. The film has an average score of 35%, so a little bit better, but still. Well, hold on. No. That's a bit worse. Because the previous one had 41%, this was 35. So less than 6%. Based on 32 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. Audiences plotted by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B plus on an A plus to F scale. This is B plus, B minus, B whatever. This is not an F. So, according to the Washington Post, ROTF was Michael's worst reviewed film at the time of release. Faring even worse than 2009's Pearl Harbor, Betsy Sharkey of the Los Angeles Times described the film as in your face, ear splitting, and unrelenting. It's easy to walk away feeling like you've spent 2 hours in the mad, wild hydraulic embrace of a car compactor. Roger Ebert, who had given the 2007 film, so the first film, 3 stars only, so 60%. I mean, it's not bad, but I don't know. I mean, like, I don't mind 60%. I mean, it's a little bit better than 50, but I was thinking I could have done it a little bit better, but oh well, that's how they did it. Can't do anything about that. Anyways, so Roger Ebert, who had given the 2007 film 3 stars, gave the sequel only one, calling it a horrible experience of unbearable length. A phrase which later became the title of his a phrase which later became the title of his third bad movie reviews collection. Later in his review, Ebert discouraged moviegoers from seeing the film by saying, "If you want to save yourself the ticket price, go into the kitchen, cue up a male choir, male choir singing the music of hell, and get a kid to start banging pots and pans together. Then close your eyes. Then close your eyes and use your imagination." He later wrote on his blog about the film, "The day will come when Revenge of the Fallen, or ROTF, will be studied in film classes and shown at cult film festivals. It will be seen in retrospect as marking the end of an era. Of course, there will be many more CGI-based action epics, but never again one this bloated, excessive, incomprehensible, long 149 minutes, or expensive $200 million. Roger would continue to lambast the film and sometimes the Transformers franchise in general in other movie reviews and responses to both in both other movie reviews and responses to both letters and emails sent to him. Rolling Stone critic Peter Travers called it beyond bad. It carves out its own category of god awfulness and didn't even give the film any stars, considering that ROTF had a shot at the title Worst Movie of the Decade. He later named it as the worst film of the decade. Um, Other reviewers, while still critical, were less damning of the film. The AV Club gave the film a C minus, complaining about the writing and length, but mentioning the effects and action scenes were impressive. Among positive reviews, Amy Biancoli of the the Houston Chronicle called it a well-oiled, loudly revving summer action vehicle that does all that's required and then some. Uh, Jordan Mintzer from Variety said it takes the franchise to a vastly superior level of AI, artificial intelligence, and Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly wrote that ROTF may be a massive overdose of popcorn greased with motor oil. So, but it knows how to feed your inner 10-year-old's appetite for destruction. A review from Empire said, "What saves it, just about, are the effects. At times, the frames so packed with wiring cogs and twirling cranks that you could replicate the effect by staring at the innards of a domestic appliance. But when these CGI motormen from another world duke it out, the images are often so screwy it's impossible to do anything but just sit and stare." Ugh. God, I'm talking too much. I need a drink. There are considerable negative reaction to both two characters, Mudflap and Skids, so known as the twins, who some perceived as perceived. Excuse me. So this one might kind of shock you or something like that. I don't know. who some perceived as embodying racist stereotypes. What? Oh, come on. What? Now, why do they have to talk about the twins? Like, you know what? I don't have the energy to talk about this. Anyway, so there are considerable negative reaction to the characters Mudflap and Skids, so the twins, who some perceived as embodying racist stereotypes. Uh, Mano Manohla or Manola Dargis of the New York Times said that the characters indicate the minstrel the minstrelsy remains as much in fashion in Hollywood as when, well, Jar Jar Binks was set loose by George Lucas. Critic Scott Mendelson said to say that these two are the most astonishingly racist caricatures caricatures that I've ever seen in a mainstream motion picture would be an understatement. Harry Knowles, Harry Knowles, or Knowles, whatever you want to call it. So his last name is No, as like if you know something. So Knowles. So, so his last name is spelled Knowles. Founder of Ain't It Cool News went further, asking his readers not to support this film because you'll be taking your children to see a film with the lowest forms of humor, stereotypes, and racism around. Michael Bay, the director, has attempted to defend the film as good, clean fun and insisted that we're just putting more personality in. Writers Roberto Orsi and Alex Kurtzman responded to the controversy. So both writers, Roberto Orsi and Alex Kurtzman, responded to the controversy with, "It's really hard for us to sit here and try to justify it. I think that would be very foolish, and if someone wants to be offended by it, it's their right. We were very surprised when we saw it, too, and it's a choice that we made. If anything, it just shows you that we don't control every aspect of the movie." Tom Kenny stated in a late 2020 interview that he was hired as a placeholder for the role of Skids, but that Michael Bay ended up using his voice in the final version of the film, a decision that Kenny admitted he was embarrassed by. Actor Shia LaBeouf, who played Sam Licky in the first three Transformers movies. The first one 2007, Revenge of the Fallen 2008, not 2008, sorry, 2009, sorry, and Dark of the Moon 2011. Anyway, so actor Shia LaBeouf was unimpressed. He was not impressed with the film, stating, "We got lost. We tried to get bigger. It's what happens to sequels. It's like, how do you top the first one? You've got to go bigger. Michael Bay went so big that it became too big, and I think you lost the anchor of the movie. You lost a bit of the relationship. Unless you have those relationships, then the movie doesn't matter. And it's just a bunch of robots fighting each other." Bay has admitted his disappointment when the film has so Michael has admitted his disappointment with the film and has apologized, saying the film was crap. Said the film was crap. Said crap. And blaming the 2007-2008 writers, and blaming the 2007-2008 writers' strike, saying it was very hard to put the sequel together that quickly after the writers' strike of 2007-2008. Okay. Next up we got is accolades. Only three pieces, like at least 2 or 3 pieces left, so not much to it. Alright, next up is accolades. In a year-end poll administered by MoviePhone, the film won in both the best and worst categories. It was voted the worst film of 2009 by 24% of those surveyed, while also winning the votes for best action movie again with uh 20 24% of the votes. Megan Fox's performance, so who she played, Michaela Baines, uh, her performance was voted the worst by an actress that year, and she was also voted the year's sexiest star, which is true. I mean, literally, no joke. Comcast ranked the film as the fourth worst sequel of all time. Empire named the film the 25th worst movie ever made. In June 2009, when it came out, when at the year it came out, and the fourth Fast and Furious movie came out, David Germain, his last name is spelled Germain, from the Associated Press, called the film the worst reviewed $400 million hit ever. ROTF was nominated for Best Sound Mixing by Greg P. Russell, Gary Summers, um, and Jeffrey, without the J, but it's with a G, Patterson, at the 82nd Academy Awards. The film won 5 Scream Awards for Best Actress, Megan Fox, which is Jew, breakout breakout performance female, Isabel Lucas, quite cool. Best sequel, best F/X, and Scream Song of the Year, New Divide, and 2 Teen Choice Awards. For Choice Summer Movie Star, female Megan Fox, and Choice Summer So for Choice Summer Movie Star, female Megan Fox, and Choice Summer Movie Star, male Shia LaBeouf. ROTF was also nominated for the Saturn Award for Best Science Fiction Film, but lost to Avatar. Satellite Awards for Best Visual Effects and Best Sound. A VES Award for Outstanding Visual Effects in a visual effects driven feature motion picture. A SAG Award. So SAG Award for outstanding SAG Award for outstanding performance by a stunt ensemble, and an MTV Movie Award for best WTF moment. We all know that. Isabel Lucas turning into a Decepticon. Shia LaBeouf, the film, and Megan Fox. So Shia LaBeouf, the film, and Megan Fox was nominated for a Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards for favorite movie actor. So for favorite movie actor, favorite movie, and favorite movie actress. Which is, I totally agree. ROTF received each nomination at 2 Golden Trailer Awards ceremonies: Best Teaser 2009 and Best Animation / Family TV Spots 2010. So Best Teaser at the end of the 2000s, and Best Animation / Family TV Spot at the start of the very early 2010s. It was nominated for 7 Razzie Awards, including Worst Actress for Megan Fox, also for Jennifer's Body. Now, that's just wrong. Megan Fox is the best actress. I am just losing my marbles. I am losing my mind. Actress, sorry. I'm just so tired. I just want to get this done and over with. So it was nominated for 7 Razzie Awards. So Razzie Awards, including Worst Actress for Megan Fox, also for Jennifer's Body. Now, they are complete, just bad-mouthing this. She's the best actress for the Transformers franchise. So better show respect to Megan Fox, because she's the best. Also for for the what was it? Also for the 2009 film Jennifer's Body. Was nominated for 7 Razzie Awards, including Worst Actress for Megan Fox, also for the movie. Also for the 2009's movie Jennifer's Body. Worst Supporting Actress for Julie White. Worst Screening Couple for both Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. And Worst Prequel, Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel, winning 3 in the Worst Picture, Worst Director, and Worst Screenplay categories at the 30th Golden Raspberry Awards. Next up is Sequel, and I think that's the last part. I think I'm not too sure, but let's let's take a look. All right. Okay, so next part is Sequel. The third film, Dark of the Moon, was released on June 29th, 2011. The fourth film, Age of Extinction, was released on June 27th, 2014. The fifth film, The Last Night, was released on June 21st, 2017. A spin-off titled Bumblebee was released on December 21st. So a spin-off titled Bumblebee was released on December 21st, 2018. And Rise of the Beasts was released on June 9th, 2023. And last but not least, we got is notes. So as depicted in Transformers 2007, the first movie, both Ravage and Grinder are not listed in the credits, and neither is both Chromia and the Elita One, who are also not listed in the credits for some unknown reason. Anyways, and that is it, guys. So if you guys like this video, so for my next Transformers video will be about DLTM, so Dark of the Moon, so it's going to be a bit more of a modern modern version of Transformers. Still don't know when I'm going to do it or if I'm going to do it, but I'll find out soon. So anyways, guys, so if you guys like this video, like and subscribe, comment down below what you guys think, hit the notification bell, and hit all so you're alerted of when I make brand new uploads. Alright, so that'll be it. I'll see you guys soon in the next video. But until then, stay safe, have a great evening, and have a great day tomorrow morning. And I'll see you guys soon in the next video. So take care, folks. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.